Don't look, don't look, don't look, and here, look, your friends won't tell you, your family won't tell you, but I'm not afraid to share this information with you. This is the red pill. If being you isn't serving you, then be somebody else. Friends, we're going to be discussing a very important topic today. We're going to be talking about why you shouldn't be yourself. And the reason for this is because it is, in my experience, it feels like the phrasing, just be yourself, the converse opposite, is thrown around as the remedy for any kind of forthcoming life problems we are imminently about to experience. So for example, the upcoming interview that is creating anxiety in us, just be yourself. For the date, the hot date that is on the weekend, that is again playing on our minds and our nerves and our anxious thoughts, just be yourself. I feel like this phrasing is born out of the idea to negate anxiety in these kind of scenarios, which is admirable, you know, don't get me wrong. However, telling someone how to be mindful and manage anxiety is not the same as saying to them, just be yourself, just be who you are, okay? If you are someone who continues to use the facility of the phrase, just be yourself, to a family member, a friend, a colleague, people you know, I want to call on you to make a conscious decision whether this advice is serving their best interests. So we're going to take a look at an example. We're going to expand actually on a previous example, the hot date scenario. So I want to imagine that you are going on a hot date this weekend. Your friend has set you up for the third time, and they think that this time, this person will be the one for you, your other half. Perhaps this is something that's already happened to you and you've had some experience with dates and meetups with other people, but for some reason, you just can't seem to find that connection that you desperately want with someone else. So you're thinking, third time lucky, I mean, they can't all be bad. After all, there's got to be someone who's interested in me for me and at least meets my expectations. I don't think that's unreasonable at all. And just before you go to set out to meet your mystery man or woman at the bar or restaurant where you're courting may start, these anxious thoughts, they start to reappear, they start to rear their head. However, your friend is there to give you that old adage. You've got nothing to worry about, Joseph. Just be yourself, just be you. Pause, hold on right there. What if you do have something to worry about? What if there is something wrong with you and your weak friends are reinforcing horrendous behaviour? So I'm going to give you an obvious example in the context of our thought experiment. We're going to be discussing one of my own pet peeves, and that is individuals who use their phone at the dinner table. And in fact, it's not even just a pet peeve, it physically boils up a reaction in me. It makes my blood boil. It's really unpleasant sensations I experience when I see this. There is nothing more immediately disrespectful in the context of a family dinner or a date than giving more attention to your phone than the other human being in front of you. Oh, and you can see even now I'm getting riled up, Bring it down, bring it grounded. Needless to say, if you're someone who exercises this kind of behavior, don't continue being yourself. Yourself is rude as fuck. Now, the obvious is out of the way. I want to build upon this concept. What other reasons exist for you to abandon the person you are now? And be honest with yourself, okay? I'll begin, I'll be transparent. So when I was at university, I got addicted to weed. It was the only thing that could get me to sleep. Or so that's how I justified it to myself, okay? I used to say, but I'm an insomniac, I need my medicine, it's medicinal, okay? It's my medicine. Whilst I see nothing inherently wrong with weed, what wasn't resourceful was the relationship I was having towards it. I was becoming a very dependent person as the result of its use. So coming back to our phrasing and the framing of this video, can you imagine the lack of progress, the stagnation, the nihilism I would still be living in if my friends, family and people close to me opted into this kind of empty phrasing? Just be yourself. What about obesity? Let's take it a step further. What about obese people in your life? What about harder drugs? What about heroin addicts, cocaine addicts? Should these people just be themselves? Understand I am taking it to an extreme end here, but if your behaviour isn't resourceful and supporting your happiness, and that behaviour you justify it as your being, why continue to support it? Why continue to perpetuate it? Why continue to make it an inhabitant of your personality? Look, the truth is, I'm getting really sick and tired of this love yourself no matter what narrative. I think it's helpful up until a point, but anything beyond that point is just dangerous. Dangerous because it masks our mental and emotional pain. It makes us believe that pain isn't natural and that you should just love yourself and it will go away. But what is pain if not a product of nature and the keys to our growth and survival? Look, if I burn my hand on the stove, I'm not putting my hand back there again. It's our best defense mechanism against not only threats, but when we are not living a life that is in harmony with ourselves. I love that word, harmony, harmonious. The trouble is, pain isn't instantly recognizable as something that could save our lives, especially if it's emotional and mental pain. There is a reason behind its presence in your life. Like the hand on the stove example. Communicating to you that something is hurting you and something needs to change. You need to change. You know, it was the hardest thing for me to realize that the person I had been was no longer serving my health and happiness. And guess what? It wasn't my decision to change. I didn't listen. I wish I had the advice I was giving you now because I ignored it. I ignored the signs. I listened to my friends, just be yourself. Don't change, be yourself. And I continue to employ this rigid way of looking at myself. And if you continue to believe that you are not malleable and you can't change, life will find a more dramatic way of letting you know. It's not pleasant at all. It is far, far worse than making the conscious decision to change. And in fact, it nearly killed me. I'm afraid it would have done. But for some reason, there existed a part in me that was worth salvaging. And maybe that's true for you as well. Heck, maybe it's the reason I'm here is to give you this message from the future. You are so plastic. You can change. You're very, very flexible and malleable, and I need to be honest with you. We need more honesty. We need more transparency. Your friends, your weak friends need to be more transparent with you and stop perpetuating lies. Don't be yourself if you're not happy. Be someone better. And if you subscribe to that, subscribe to me. And I'll see you again.